Hello and welcome to Trains in the Arctic, and if you've seen the title, I got something stupid planned. You know that I DCC my locos. Some of them I buy chipped, some of them I chip myself. But I've never done such a small loco. So what loco is it? Let's go to the title and then we can find out. So what am I doing which is so silly? I'm not quite sure if you can see it in my hand. So let's zoom in. This is a Bachmann model of a Wickham rail car. When they first announced it, it was meant to be able to take a chip. But they decided against that. I've been spending months trying to work this out. The first thing I had to do was to find the smallest chip I could get my hands on. And that where this come in. This is an absolutely tiny chip. It's a Zimbo one. It's 2mm thick. It's 8.2mm long and 5.8mm wide. I think I got space in here for this. The next thing I had to work out is wiring. I have seen where about people have put a big chip in there and then put tarpaulin out. Also, there's a circuit board in there. I've been using my multimeter, and those two wheels and those two wheels are connected. Those two wheels and those two wheels are connected. Then they all go back to the motor which is in there. So the idea is the two wires going to the motors is going to be interfered with. I'm thinking of being mad and soldering to the chip, but I think that that's just a step too far. So I'll work that out closer to the time. But let's go into the workbench and then I'll put the camera on so that you can see what I'm doing. And I'll do a voiceover over it. So let's go into my desk and have a go at this. First of all, I put a thing of tape to one side to put screws on, and I get out my screwdrivers. I then take the screws out of the vehicle, making sure to use the packaging which gives me a nice level flat space. There's 5 screws altogether, 2 in the front and 3 in the back, and that hold everything together. And as you can see, I remove the screws, then I look for some stuff. Then what do I do next? We carry on unscrewing the screws. So about my head keep on getting in the way. You can see that the screws are on the base underneath, and then I just use a screwdriver just to remove the tops. Now you can see we have a flat base, and I now look to see where about the decoder will fit, to see that I'm getting the decoder out of the box. So as you can see, I'm looking where it fits in the cab, or I'll be able to fit it in the back. Now I'm wandering off because I remembered the most important thing. Before I go any further, I want to test my decoder, as this decoder is new out of the box. So it's always best practice to try it before you do anything else. This is an ESG tester. I'm not quite sure which model it is. And before I can connect it, I just need to quickly redo the ends on a few wires, as I have a soldering iron here. Please note that the method I do for soldering this with is how I do it. I don't recommend anyone else to do it the way I do it. And this video is for entertainment purpose, not for reference. So I clear my side, and you can see I bunch all the wires together and just tim them. That's a technique of just putting solder on the end. So now I just put the chip on the decoder tester, and then I go and get my DCC system out, which here is my Digitrex zapper unit. I actually have 3 different DCC systems. I have my ECOS in the train room, I have my zapper which I use on the test bench, and then I have a Digitrex system for the garden railway. The nice thing is I have controllers which can use all 3, so quite a nice universal system. So now I have tested everything, I can then get a bit heavy handed. I need to cut the wires on this decoder. So I'll just take a quick photo of where everything is, so that if in future I decide to add anything, I can go to it. I'm leaving it with just the 4 wires, which is red for rail right, black for rail left, orange for motor right, and grey for motor left. If you're DCCing anything, those are the only 4 wires you need to control the motor. You then normally have blue, yellow and white, and those are normally used for lighting controls. So you can see I have cut the wires off with the chips there, and we're just zooming in so that you can see what I'm doing. So now I'm just working out where the chip fit. So I find something else I can unscrew and realise I can put one of the screws away so I don't lose it. Now I decide to put my hands in the way, measure to see if the chip will fit where I think it will, as at the moment I still have the option of in for 2 places, and I am about to test fit the decoder in the back bit, which fits. The other option was in the front with it coming up through the floor, but I wanted to try to fit it in the back. You'll notice that there's a motor, wheel pickup at the back and wheel pickup at the front, and then a little circuit board at the front. Now I'm cutting the motor that coming from the front to the back. This is wheel pickup, and they have used the colours red and blue on the motor and black for the 2 feeds. So I'm now stripping the ends of the wires because they're very small wires, and tinning the wires, tinning what's already there, and making sure everything's neat and tidy. So I also cut some heat shrink, and you can see I had a few places where I about to manage to get solder on bits which I shouldn't, so at times I had to tidy that off. So I know I have got it in focus now. I cut some heat shrink tubing to insulate all the connections, as potentially as there's metals on the chassis I could cause a short circuit. A lot of people use a flame to do it. I just use the end of a soldering iron to just heat the heat shrink. And I tin here. You'll notice that I'm using the wrong colours here. I'll explain this to you a bit more in a moment. So you can see I'm starting to get there, making all the connections, tinning it. This has been sped up 500 times. So like I said, red rail right, black rail left, orange motor right, grey motor left. Now I just keep on working along, Shortly I'm going to get the DCC system out. One big bit of advice whenever you fit a chip is always do it on the programming track rather than the main track, because the programming track provide a lower voltage, which means if you have made a mistake you're not going to blow your chip as badly. Luckily modern chips have a lot of protection in. So here I'll just make sure everything's working and trying to clear up my mess where I have had a few little overspills, and I get my head in the way here as I thought I still had overhead camera running. So now I have everything basically working, and I put a bit of track out to test it on the programming track. Like at this point I haven't put any body shells back on so that I can just make sure that the basic is working, and you can see that I wasn't quite happy, so I started to see what I've done. We got the train there and it's connected to the DCC system. So let's go back to me. So the cameras ran out of storage space and battery, but here we are. I haven't put the 2 screws back in here. And this is a real tight fit. But you can see it's all wired up now. I have fitted the decoder with double-sided tape because that's a good insulator. We've got all the cables in there just. And this is a really tight space. You've got to make sure that you have all your clearances planned. But if I do this, do that, do that, if it's on the track properly, it actually works. And then again, it's also going reverse. So I'm quite pleased with that. The last thing needs to be done is to put the top on, but I'll do that off camera. And this is a project completed. I will admit it's not the best runner. I will admit that I could have done things better, but for the tiniest ready to run loco you can buy in double O, chipping it up is all nicely done. So like I said, I do apologise about how we cut off mid thing, but the process, just in case the cameras didn't catch everything, is first we'll take the loco to piece to work out where about the chip will go, then test the chip. That's the most important thing of a complete project, as I ended up cutting a few wires off. I took photos of where about those wires go just in case I have to do something else. I just have orange, red, black and grey, which is all you actually need for DCC. I will point one thing out with the instruction manual. Can anybody else spot the problem? Those labellings are wrong. It's saying black left, rail left, red motor left. Then further down it's a orange motor right, grey motor left, red right rail right, black rail left. So just double check that with it, and I did make the mistake following that. So thank you for watching. We'll be live again on Sunday to carry on with the Metcalf build, then Wednesday to carry on with the church, and then next Saturday should be another video. So remember to like, subscribe and comment. Remember to tell your friends, tell your enemies, and I'm Richard. Thank you very much. Goodbye.